It is an embarrassment to be a white person in the year 2012 with all of the horrible racism going on with white people. It's disgusting. I can't even go on to any websites, chat sites, anything without some racist redneck idiot. And I mean, there's a lot of good hillbillies. There's a lot of good people, but they're just brainwashed into hating black people, and they swear the N-word about the president, and it just kills me inside that it's 2012, and there's still these ignorant white people. And I've been, when I was growing up, I attended a black majority high school, and there were a couple racists there. I can understand them being racist. They have every right to, but they opened up to me real quick, and they took me in, and they treated me like one of their own. And I could never imagine in a million years it happening the other way around. Stupid rednecks and their freaking KKKs, and they still keep that tradition up in this day and age. It is just embarrassing.
People in these neighborhoods don't want those type of people moving down here and ruining the property value and destroying the neighborhood. So when things like that happen, it shouldn't be such a shock.
What do you mean by those types of people?
Minorities. African Americans.
I guess what I'm getting at is that you're generalizing tremendously. These people might have just been here looking for a different way of life, a better way of life.
Maybe people are afraid after you let one family in, then more of them come in.
Facebook friends and family, this is Dana Stevens, and I want to take a few moments to respond to the phone calls, emails, and text messages I've received concerning the events and the event that's taking place in Milwaukee with the uproar and the violence. But first I want to really speak a word to white America in saying this. Come on, white America. What do you expect? I mean, really, what do we expect? All our black brothers and sisters have wanted was to be treated equally and valued equally under the Constitution. But we, as white America, have refused to grant them anything, even to listen to the cries of pain they are suffering under, and then to watch the videos of the blatant injustice killings of our black brothers and sisters. So if we refuse to listen to their plea, to their cries, and even to the videos, what language do you expect them to now speak to us to get our attention, to stop our oppression? It's called violence. And yet we as the oppressors still will not even take a moment to take a step back and say, what have we done? But yet judge the oppressed for acting in violence against us. Overlooking all the innocent lives that white America has killed and destroyed amongst our black family since the beginning of this country. White America, what do you expect? And as I stated in a video about a month or so ago, I want you to remember again, the blood that you are seeing in Milwaukee is on our hands, because maybe white America will not change until they walk in the shoes of being oppressed, because we're unwilling to listen to hear. We're only listening to defend. Now, to my black brothers and sisters, again, you are a chosen group of people, and God has promises for you. And today, Psalm 12 came to me, verses 5 to 7, when it said, "But the Lord says, because the poor are oppressed, because of the groans of the needy, I'm now standing up, and I will provide the help that you, my black Americans, are grasping for. Know that God does not need the approval of white man to step in and bring you to the head while bringing your oppressors, white America, to become the tail." See, even Abel's blood cried out to the Lord. Our black men and women that are being killed, that innocent blood has cried out to God, and God has heard it. Exodus 3, verse 9 says, "Look, the cry of the people of Israel, the cry of the black America, has reached me, God, and I have seen how harshly the Egyptians or the white Americans have abused them." I don't need to read the rest of the story because we know what God did on behalf of the Hebrews under the harsh abuse of the Egyptians. So to my black brothers and sisters, I want you to know that God has not forgotten you, that you will become the head. You will be placed in your rightful positions as kings and queens. And to white America, I ask you again, would you just listen? Listen to hear. Listen to hear the pain that is being brought forth from the innocent lives of our oppressed black brothers and sisters. But if you don't, and it looks like you won't, understand the violence and the bloodshed that happens even amongst innocent whites is still on our hands because we have refused to change our system. We have refused to repent, and we have refused to acknowledge the wrong that we have done, not only to our black brothers and sisters, but even to all the innocent Native American Indians we slaughtered in taking over this country. These are my thoughts, and unfortunately, it saddens me that my people are so reluctant to just listen.
White people are scared. That's right. White America are a bunch of cowards. And why are they a bunch of cowards? Why do they cling to their guns? Guns are for cowardly people. They're afraid. Because there's going to be time for retribution. And there's going to come a time for reckoning for all the things that they've done to so many people. All the pain they've put the black community through, all the hell they put the Asian community through, how they oppress Indian Americans and Chinese Americans and East Indian Americans and the indigenous peoples and the Japanese peoples and all of the other groups of people in the world. They live with their wealth and their greed. They live with all their money and all their comfort and all their power and position. But it's going to change. It's already changing. And the tides are turning. So they cling to their guns because they know they're not strong enough to fight against the black community and all the other people who are so much more stronger than all of them. And they're afraid because they know of how they treat people with inequality, how they have their supremacism. They believe they're better than everyone else. Things are going to change and the table is going to turn. So they're afraid, and that's why they keep voting for Republicans and right-wing bigots. That's why white people only vote Republican. That's why white people make everyone else do their dirty work. That's why they never go to wars. That's why they never join the military. They make people of color do that. Because they're cowards and they know that they can't handle it themselves. And that's what's going on. They live in their comfort. They never have to work. They never work. They never labor. And all the things they've done. They dragged the people of Africa out. They walked into that country and started grabbing them, as the African people and the chiefs did everything they can to keep their people from becoming enslaved. they all just grab them and drag them away into hell and in chains. And that's going to come back to white America very soon. And they're afraid. They're very afraid, because it could happen to them, and they would deserve it. You know, they're afraid because they never stood up. No, white people have never stood up for the black community and people of color. They never done anything. You know, a bunch of people. One of these right wingers wrote me a letter talking about the abolitionist movement and all the things that whites and Christian and you know, all these religious institutions were doing to fight against slavery. Bullshit! Spare me your propaganda. I mean, it was obviously, you know, so what? So what? There's some abolitionists, some white Christians and abolitionists that tried to freeze or fight against slavery. Why? I'm supposed to applaud you for doing what you're supposed to do? You don't get applause for doing what you're supposed to do. Someone else wrote me about the sugar strikes in the 1700s, where tons of abolitionists and anti-slavery movements in the 19th century and hundreds of years ago, the people were boycotting sugar, and this was putting pressure on plantation systems. Oh, right, sure. We're supposed to applaud you for putting a little less extra sugar in your tea. Oh, please spare me. Spare me. It's not enough. I don't care how many hundreds of thousands of soldiers died in the Civil War. It means nothing compared to what you've done to the black community. I don't care about your propaganda trying to claim that, white people are slaves too. Oh, all your chattel slavery that whites went through. Oh, so what? So, you know, it's a bunch of lies the whites are making up now to try to make themselves look guiltless. What? They're trying to claim that Irish and Scottish and Welsh and British were put into slavery as well. So what? So what if they were? That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't make you any less guilty for all the horrible things you've done. People are trying to claim that whites were enslaved by Africans, the Barbary pirates. Who gives a shit? Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean a thing. So what? You're going to condemn all African people for what a few pirates did to them? So what? You can't get out of this guilt. There's nothing you can do to deflect it. I don't want to hear stories about your ancestors living in poverty and working in coal mines and dying of black lung and working their asses off, because they didn't. You enslaved people, made them do it all for you. It was people of color doing that. Spare me your lies. I don't want to hear the lies about your ancestors in battlefields dying and bleeding. Oh, what? So you joined the military and so you could go out and oppress people with your colonial wars and oppression? We're supposed to start weeping for your filthy families? No, you people have pushed inequality. You have your supremacism beliefs, and you condemn and blame entire demographics of people for what for what a few criminals might do, and you've condemned black people, and you've made their lives miserable, and we can't live with your inequality, and you're afraid because the time of reckoning is coming, and the clock is ticking. Tick tock, tick tock. Drink up, because you're all going to get what you have coming very soon. Very soon.